Hey there, I'm Jeremy Drobeck, coming to you from firstclassmortgageservice.com. Closing costs. What are closing costs? Well, this is how I refer to closing costs, and they've slapped me on the wrist for saying that, but I don't really care because this is the truth. Basically, when you buy a house, this is one of the most major purchases you'll probably ever do in your life, at least most people, is buying a home. And because that purchase is so large, there's a lot of fees associated with it. What I always tell people is that basically everybody you could imagine dips their hands in these transactions and takes their little piece of the pie. It's not just the lender, it's lots of people. The lender, the appraiser, the title company, flood certification companies, credit companies, appraisers, home inspectors, taxing authorities, the county. When you record stuff, they charge you, your insurance company. So there's lots of things you got to pay when you're looking into purchasing a home. We can break this down very simply. You're going to have your closing costs, quote unquote. Those are your lender fees, your appraisal fees, title fees, and then you're going to have your prepaid items. And this is what a lot of times gets left out. So I talk to people where, they pick up the phone and they just start calling around, and they'll say, hey, what are your closing costs? And a lot of lenders will say, $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever, some small number, trying to keep them hooked. What about the prepaid items? Because that's a lot of times bigger number than the closing costs. Prepaids are your property taxes, setting up your property tax escrows and paying any taxes that are due at closing, and your prepaid interest, your interest from the day of closing till the end of the month, and your homeowner's insurance. And a lot of times that can total $2,000, $3,000. So that can be a rather large number depending on the time of the year, the property taxes on the house. There's a lot of factors there. Best thing to do is go through the loan application, get pre-approved, and as part of that pre-approval is a rundown on basically what you'll need for closing costs and what a lot of people will do, because this number is typically right around $4,000. That's for your closing costs and your prepaids and everything. Now, there's a whole lot of exceptions to that, but let's just say, for the sake of saying that, it's $4,000. What a lot of people will do is they'll put an offer in on the house, and they'll say, okay, Mr. Seller, I'll give you $100,000 for this house, but I also want you to pay $4,000 towards my closing costs, prepaids, and escrows. That's very common. Don't be afraid to do that. Closing costs isn't something you'll necessarily have to pay out of pocket, but it's definitely a cost involved with purchasing a home. And between the closing costs and all the prepaid items, again, that's typically going to come out around $4,000. So if you have any questions on that, or you want some detailed numbers specific towards your situation, your loan program, and the house and everything, give me a call or apply online. I'm Jeremy Drobeck, firstclassmortgageservice.com.